Hello friends, what's up? This is Ron here, and in this King of Fighters All-Star video, we are going to talk about Inferno Rugal. By the way, this guild mode is really hard, and from today it has been released and with the same reward as the Geese Inferno mode, as you can see, box number 9, and with the same score, there is 1251 million. In order to clear this guild mode, you need to have this score. And as a reward, of course, there is a big chance of getting this valuable generic BS memory. And of course, here we will see the generic SS memory. So there is a probability to get these two memories or either of them by opening these boxes. So the thing is, playing this guild also is not an option. You have to play this anyway in order to get those valuable reward if you want to have them. Now let's talk about the dots, teams and other stuffs. And as you can see, this boss, this Inferno Rugal, is vulnerable to 2 dots at the same time. That is, from the Geese guild in Inferno mode, we saw that we have to apply shock and chill at the same time to break the mirror. But here, we need to apply both poison and bleeding. And poison and bleeding is a kind of a dot which is not really available in many meta characters in the game so far. So let's see what type of team combination we can use against this boss. And personally, I am using this team that is made of BS Ash, BS Zero Original and Nameless, Boss Syndrome Nameless. And by the way, Boss Syndrome Zero Original is the MVP of this guild mode because he has both bleeding and poison in his skills. As you can see, he has bloodshed in this skill and he has venom or poison in this skill. By the way, the skill name is ST-RON-X, so this is kind of sweet for me. Now the thing is, this is the one and only character in the game who can do both of these damages at the same time. So he is kind of very useful and very important for this game mode. And he, honestly, if you have him at least at 3-star awaken level or even at 1-star or 2-star, it doesn't really matter. All you need is to apply the dots. So if you have him, basically you can do this without much problem. Just use any other suitable team combination for it will be better if you use a boss syndrome team for higher damages. But if not, then you can actually get away with any other team as well, because if you just use him as a dot dealer and if you use any other 2 characters for damage dealing, that will basically do the job. Now of course there is no replacement of Zero because he is the only character who can do both poison and bleeding. And there is not a single other character like him who can do both of these dots. But there are other characters who can separately do these dots. So let's check out what are those characters. So let's see what are the probable bleed damage dealing characters we are having in the game. And we are actually having a bunch of them, I would say. But honestly, none of them is as good as BS Zero. But of course, if you have Rugal, Rugal can really be a great option because this guy has he's bleeding in his core, and after the buff, actually netmarble make his bleeding as a core dot. So basically, whenever he will attack the boss, it doesn't matter if it is an active skill, basic skill, or anything, he will do bloodshed to the boss. But there is one problem with Rugal, that Rugal is kind of a character who doesn't really have any sort of defense mechanism, like for example shield or some sort of immunity. And of course he is an attack type character, and these lackings of shield or any sort of immunity actually makes him kind of vulnerable against Rugal, because Inferno Rugal is very strong and he deals a lot of damages, and he might actually kill your Rugal very quickly. But still, Rugal can be a great character if you can use him, cleverly. And if you are activating this change up thing, then he is going to be a freaking demon against this boss, honestly. If you are one of those guys who have actually activated the change up system with Rugal, you know how much damage he is already dealing. Now, among the other characters, I would say Genis. He is a great option against this boss because he definitely has bloodshed in his skill. He can do a lot of bloodshed. As you can see from this skill, he applies bloodshed for 7 seconds, and from once again in this from this skill he is going to actually deal more damage to a character who is affected by bloodshed. And on the top of that, this guy actually has a decent shield, and as you can see from this core, this guy has a shield. Whenever he is attacked, he casts a shield which lasts for 7 seconds, and this shield actually saves him from any sort of attack. Whenever Rugal does his blast up thing, he actually deals a huge amount of damage. But if you are using this guy, probably you will going to get that shield activated, and definitely your character is going to be saved from the damages. And beside these two characters, honestly, there is not much option for bleeding. As you can see, there are some characters like good old Genis, in-game Genis here, or even Marlin here, but honestly, these characters won't stand a chance against Inferno Rugal. You must have to have BS or SS fighters. Collab characters or fast characters will not stand a chance against Inferno Rugal. And I was kind of surprised to see that there was not a single SS character in my knowledge who has bleeding option or even poison damage. I don't know why, but so far not a single character is having those damages. I don't know why, but I might be mistaken, but to my knowledge there is not a single SS character who has bleeding or poison. That is kind of awkward, right? So if you don't have BS0 original, you might just go ahead and form this sort of team that is basically based on bleeding, and of course you need the additional dot that is poison, and you have to do it with poison strikers. Now let me show you what are the available poison strikers in the game. And honestly, there is a number of poison damage dealing striker. Let's say this girl right here, she can actually do poison damage for 4 seconds. I would say she is not really a good option, but you can use her if you don't have any other option. Lin here, on the other hand, he deals poison damage for 7 seconds, and he can be a great poison damage dealing striker. And as he is always available in the game and you can get him for free, so probably you got this character already, so you can use him as a good poison dealing striker. Also Leona here, this first Leona, she also has Venom as a striker, but she does this only for 3 seconds, so that's a big problem because of the duration. But in my opinion, the best poison damage dealing striker is nothing but a gold character. This Halloween Night Xiang Fei. And look at this. She deals poison for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a freaking long time, and it is the longest time for any striker to deal poison damage. So basically she is the best poison damage dealing striker in the game. But let's say if you want to use poison damage dealers on the team, and if you want some bleed damage dealing strikers, then I've got two options for you. First of all, this Hayden here, Halloween Night Hayden, and he is the best bleed damage dealing character in the game as a striker, because he inflicts bleed damage equal to 4% of attack to all enemies for 10 seconds. Once again, 10 seconds is a very long time, and you can easily use him as a bleed damage dealing striker. Also, we have further options like this Unshackled Instinct Yuri, and Yuri can deal bleed damage for 5 seconds. So 5 seconds is considerably a smaller amount of time. I would say I would go with Hayden any day. He is better option, of course. So you have to either use your bleed damage dealing character on the team and use poison dealing strikers, or you can go other way by using poison dealing characters in the game, in the team, and bleed damage dealing strikers as strikers, bleed damage dealers as a striker. So I showed you both options and you can do it in either way. Now let's talk about my team here. I just kept BS Ash for his extremely amazing leadership that is going to buff all these characters attack by a huge 60%. So this is a universal leader for all the boss syndrome fighters, and try to use this sort of universal leaders. For example, a great leader can be BS Leona as well, because she buffs all the boss syndrome characters with a 45% attack and 25% of PG gain. So she can also be a good leader as well. Now the only problem with Ash is his survivability, because whenever the Rugal does his blasting thing, if you cannot save your Ash, he will die pretty quickly. So you need to adopt certain techniques that I'll show you in my gameplay that will save your boss syndrome Ash. That is to tag any one of these fighters. Probably you are using Original Zero or Leona or Nameless or any fighters you are using. You just need to tag those fighters in and take the damage to those fighters, because these fighters, for example Nameless and Zero, both are having shield in their core, and also Leona has shield, also Genis has shield. These sort of characters is going to be really useful, and they can take the damage, and all you just need to do is to be very quick and tag in those characters and pray to the god that the shield gets activated. Because I have experienced sometimes there are times where the shield doesn't get activated, and even these characters also gets the damage, which is huge in amount. So now let me talk briefly about the cards. Just nothing, usually any good card set with good option cards, you just go ahead with it, no problem. And for Zero, I'll be using this good old Serena set, because he is just there to tag in, do the dot, maybe do a 3BG and nothing more. So a Serena set or any other good set will be useful for him. You can use any boss syndrome character, or maybe you can just go with 2 cooldown reduction cards. That is also helpful. For Nameless, I am simply just going with his favorite Idol Cooler set with 2 boss syndrome option cards, and basically that's it. So my friends, probably now I have answered all your probable queries about this guild mood, and now I will show you a gameplay. And of course this gameplay is not the best. It is just my first day. I haven't really managed much time to practice at all. I need to practice with other team combination, and definitely probably I will upload more videos about it. But for now I'm using this team, and let's see what happens, and hope to see you guys soon in some other videos. Till then, stay awesome and peace out, my friends.
Ready, go! 全てが終わる。急ぎだ。何があっても。カイザーウェイ